You can tell a lot about a person by where he or she lives.
I can tell absolutely nothing about Nancy by where she lives. Nancy's reading chair is super far away from her bookshelf. Nancy's a computer game character, but she doesn't own a computer. Nancy lives on the second floor of her house, yet her window is level with this house.
I thought I'd introduce myself by showing you my room. As you can see, I keep it pretty neat.
Nancy's footsteps sound the same whether she's walking on wood or carpet.
Keep it pretty neat.
Nancy takes credit for the housekeeper's work.
But don't say anything about that to my dad, okay? He worries about me enough as it is.
If you want to keep your cases a secret, Nancy, maybe you shouldn't make a scrapbook out of them. Imagine if Nancy's dad walked in right now and heard Nancy talking to thin air. He'd think she's crazy. Later games turn this dossier into a scrapbook. Nancy's dossier doesn't contain the dossier games. Ads for Nancy Drew games inside Nancy Drew games. Where did Nancy get all these pictures for the scrapbook? Nancy wants to remember these cases, but only in general terms that don't give away any spoilers. Nancy writes about her fond memories with as much clickbait as possible. All the pictures are in color, except the gym. The basement boiler room is on the list of familiar high school haunts. They didn't bother to change anything for the remastered dossier. All they did was update some graphics. It's like a metaphor for the game itself. Nancy says she got to hang out with producers when she didn't. Nancy is excited about Rick. She must have forgotten that he's a sleaze. Nancy keeps photographs in the center of her scrapbook. How do they not get bent when she closes the book?
Phoenix Head is in black and white for no apparent reason.
Nancy talks about avoiding a fate like Marie Antoinette's, but Nancy was never in danger of being guillotined. Nancy calls it the Palladium Theater when it's the ROYAL Palladium. Nancy says it was totally up to her to solve the mystery, when Brady, Joseph, Nicholas, and her phone contacts helped her solve the mystery. Being a volunteer intern was exciting enough. Oh no, it wasn't exciting in the slightest. My main source of information was soon disposed of. That is a callous way to say somebody tried to kill him. Was Henrik really her main source of information? Nancy types out this entire entry, but she handwrites the last word. Be more consistent, Nancy. Nancy says this case was accidental, but it wasn't. Sally purposely asked her to come solve the mystery. Nancy says the weird part of the haunted carousel is that the carousel was important. Nancy says Caddy the sea monster makes Deception Island dangerous, even though the sea monster isn't in the game. Nancy conveniently ignores the fact that most of this game was doing chores.
Later games shrink the size of the scrapbook for no apparent reason.
Nancy doesn't question the fact that she time traveled. Jake's mind was unexplored for centuries because it was lost, not because it was dangerous. Nancy says she explored the busiest parks and brightest cafes, more like one park and one cafe. Nancy didn't deal with floods in Kapu Cave. I almost died on this case sounds a lot less dramatic 17 times in a row. There is only one hidden room in the mansion. Surrounded by romance? What game did Nancy play? Matt and Kyler are correctly labeled on the left page. On the right page, a raccoon is labeled as Kit. There is only one villain in Ransom of the Seven Ships. Nancy makes it sound like the Black Cat was kidnapping other students. The culprit in this case wanted to lose, not to win. Nancy starts with long descriptions, then she cuts back to 3 sentences and 2 sentences per entry. Someone got lazy at the end of her scrapbook.
Without becoming another entry in the castle's long and grisly history.
Nancy directly quotes the preview for this game.
Wouldn't you know it, in this game the airline loses my luggage and with it my cell phone.
So why is there a tutorial for it?
You won't have an alarm clock in this game.
So why is there a tutorial for it? Tutorial teaches you how to navigate the main menu, even though it's impossible to reach the tutorial without going through the main menu.
Click on Help for tips that will help you play the game. To turn off the game and return to the desktop of your computer, click on Exit Game.
Tutorial skips over more Nancy Drew.
His words in blue and my responses in white.
Nancy's responses are in light blue, not white. Having a help screen and a tutorial is redundant. Mr. Woogle Woggle is spelled differently both times his name appears. Nancy's luggage contains no socks or underwear. Nancy's luggage has 3 pairs of mom jeans.